Good afternoon, one and all. Here we shall start the presentation on the traditional Chinese medicine. This is a part which is coming under the alternative system of medicine. Already we have seen about the Ayurveda, Siddha, and Unani system of medicines. And this is the continuation of the fourth chapter for the fourth semester B.Pharm students. So this traditional Chinese medicine, it is a branch of traditional medicine, and it is said to be based on more than 3,500 years of Chinese medical practice. This TCM includes the various forms of herbal medicines, that is, the treatment includes the use of herbal medicines, acupuncture, cupping therapy, dosha, massage, otherwise in Chinese it is called as tuna, bone setter called as daida, and the Chinese exercise which is called as qigong. And apart from that, the important one is the dietary therapy. Recently, this TCM is also influenced by modern Western medicine. This TCM is widely used in Sinosphere, where it has a very long history, and in the later years, this is also practiced outside China. And when you just see the basic theory involved in traditional Chinese medicine is the body's vital energy. It is otherwise called as Qi or Qi. That means the vital energy is circulating through the channels in the body. These channels are called as meridians. And these meridians, they have the branches which will connect to the different organs of the body and regulate the functions of these organs within the body. And in the other side, the concept of vital energy is considered to be a pseudoscience. When you just come to the concepts of the body and the disease, according to the traditional Chinese medicine, it reflects its ancient origins and its emphasis on the dynamic process over the material structure, which is very similar to the European humoral theory. That is nothing but when you just see the other kinds of the traditional medicines, the basic principle or the theory involved is the 5 elements of Panchamahabhuta, which in turn connected with the tridoshas or the humors of life, which in turn with the 7 elements of the body. If these 3 are in equilibrium, the man is said to be healthy. If there is any imbalance between these things, which leads to the occurrence of disease in man. So when you see any kind of your traditional system of medicine, these are the basic things in which the principle and the concepts are involved. And when you just see this Chinese system of medicine, it dates back to 2757 years, where the Chinese emperor Shen Nang wrote his first scroll, which is called as the Pent Saw. This was considered as the first materia medica in China. We know very well the Chinese Emperor Shen Nung wrote in its scroll that around 365 drugs, which is to be taken in each day in a year, will keep a man healthy and devoid of any disease. So he is the very first and important contributor to the Chinese system of medicine. And the next person who has contributed to the Chinese system of medicine is Hong Ti, who wrote the Canon of Chinese Medicine. And the next person is Chang Cheng Kung. He is a physician who introduced the treatise on fever, its diagnosis, clinical examination, symptomology, course, and the treatment, and also the management of fever along with acupuncture. And apart from him, the other person named Ho Tu. He is the first surgeon of China who employed anesthesia. In the 16th century, the Chinese medicines comprises of 8,000 prescriptions along with 2,000 drugs. In 19th century, the names and virtues of the plant ran into 60 volumes. So these are the many people. Other than these people, there are many physicians and other people who has contributed a lot to the Chinese system of medicine. And according to this traditional Chinese medicine, the theory and basic concepts, if you see, it depends upon these things which is noted over here. The first theory is yin and yang theory, and next comes the five body constituents, and next the five body networks and five body climates. And when you just come to the very first theory of yin and yang, the theory behind yin is considered as the feminine nature, and which is represented by the internal energy, and they are yielding in type, and they are nurturing in type, which has the negative thinkings, and usually in the night it is active and passive in nature, and other signs will be the moon, intuitive, cold and soft. And the yang, the characteristics are masculine in nature with an external energy, and it is dominating, initiating, it is positive in nature, which is active in day, sun, logical in thinking, hot and heart. So collectively, yin means the feminine characters and yang means the masculine characters. And according to this, if you take a body, it is a delicate balance between this yin and yang, which are the two polar, opposite, and antagonistic complementary forces. If there is any imbalance in yin and yang, which results in disease in a man. And apart from that yin and yang theory, the next one is your five body constituents. So what are those five body constituents? That is nothing but the spirit, which is otherwise termed as QI, moisture, blood, psyche, which means shen, soma or essence, which means zinc. What is that spirit or QI? It is the vital animating force which makes the body to move, work, and think. And this vital energy, QI, will, is flowing through the body throughout day and night. And also it regulates the circulation, which in turn leads to the, or which in turn tells about the Chinese biological clock within the body. And the next body constituent is your moisture, which regulates or protects the body, nurtures, lubricates the tissues. And next one is your blood, which is the very basic foundation for bones, nerves, muscles, and other organs. And the last two body constituents, that is nothing but your psyche and soma, they are immaterial and they are responsible for the reproductive expression. That means the reproduction in individual is monitored by the two body constituents like psyche and soma. And next comes the 5 body networks. That is, you can see the network is organized, the connection between the 5 organs in the body. You can see in this pictorial representation the heart, liver and spleen, lungs, kidney, and these are the 5 different organs which in turn connected with the 5 elements of Panchamahabhuta, and they regulate and preserve the body's vital energy. So now you know how this body constituents and 5 body networks, which in connection with the elements of Panchamahabhutas regulating the vital energy. That is the body constituents like QI, moisture, blood, psyche, soma, or essence. So here the 5 networks and their functions are illustrated in the table. The organ, the network organ is liver, which is doing the function as storage of blood, flow of vital energy, that is nothing but your QI, and evenness of temper. That means all the emotions in the body are controlled in an equilibrium. If there is any imbalance in this liver functions, it leads to tension in the neck, shoulders, high blood pressure, and headache. And the next network organ is your heart, which pumps the blood and harbors the spirit and governs the mind. The imbalance leads to anxiety, restless sleep, angina, and palpitation. And the next organ is your spleen, where it is helping in the digestion of food and regulation of fluids and ideas. Imbalance leading to indigestion, fatigue, that is nothing but your tiredness, and scattered thinking. And the next organ in the network is the lungs, which does respiration and sets body rhythm. Imbalance leads to the tightening in the chest, skin rashes, cold, and flu. And the last organ in the network is your kidney, which stores the essence for reproduction and growth. So imbalance in this functions or organ leading to retardation of growth, infertility, weakness in vision. So this is the table which tells very clearly about how the network between the organs in the body and what are the different functions of these organs, and if there is any imbalance in these organs, what are the conditions it is going to lead. And next we will see about the 5 body climates. As per our climatic conditions, the body changes, or the imbalance also will be occurring. When you see the first season of the climate, that is the spring, where the wind is predominant, which is leading to unsteady movement in the body. And next comes the summer, where the excessive of heat will be there, which may cause or which will inflame the tissues of the body. And next comes the late summer or the spring or the monsoon, where the condition is dampness, which causes phlegm and edema. That is, most of the respiratory diseases will be happening over there. And next comes the autumn, where the condition will be dry, which leads to the cracking of muscles membranes. And the last season is your winter, where much cold temperature will be there, which will retard the circulation. So you have seen about yin and yang theory and how it's going to have the effect on the body. And next we have seen the 5 body constituents, and then we have seen about the organ network, and again the body climates. And when you see the combination of this 5 phases theory with yin and yang, it is also believed that it is going to produce some of the combinations, and in that, if there is any imbalance in that combinations, which is leading to the different types of signs and symptoms. See here in uh, the 5 elements of the Panchamahabhutas, that is nothing but the wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, and how it is related towards the various phenomena like your direction, color, climate, taste, and the Zhang organ, that is the 5 organ network therapy, and the Fu organ, and the sense organs, facial part, and the eye part. So by correlating these things and the changes in these organs, or by the imbalance, the disease or the other things can be diagnosed. So this is the basic principle, that is the imbalance should be in the organ network, in the body constituents, in the climatic conditions, and also the yin and yang here. And next we will see about the diagnosis in the traditional Chinese medicine. Likewise, with the other traditional systems of medicine, the diagnosis is done here also by observing the pulse from each of the wrist and observing the body condition, the complexion of the skin, the facial changes, and the changes in the tongue. And out of these things, the observing the pulse will play an important role, because the pulse readings will provide the clue regarding the from which part of the body is originated, or how the disturbances happened in the yin or yang theory. And apart from these normal diagnostic conditions, patients' past and present history should be collected, the symptoms, the complaints, work, habits, physical conditions, and the family history, and also the mental status of a patient also has to be collected, and each and every part is considered, and it is coincide or it is compared with the other findings, and finally the disease has to be diagnosed. And once the disease is diagnosed, then the treatment has to be planned. In the treatment, the very first thing what you are going to do is you have to achieve a goal to adjust and harmonize the yin and yang, that is the feminine and masculine characters are to be brought to the normal conditions. The imbalance should be balanced. And then the body constituents, that is the vital energy, moisture, blood in the organ networks, it has to be controlled. And apart from these 2 things, the other methods of treatment like acupuncture, diet, exercises, and massage also can be added along with the different types of herbs which are used as medicines to adjust and harmonize yin and yang, and also the body constituents to match with the organ network. And when you just see the acupuncture, what do you mean by this acupuncture? Once upon a time, this acupuncture was much prevalent, and it was uh, told or spoken much about this acupuncture a few years back. And this acupuncture involves the stimulation of anatomical points on the body with a thin needle. The acupuncture patients, sometimes they feel little pain or sometimes they report no pain. And these acupuncture needles are very thin, like how thin the hair, and they are manipulated either by hand or by the electricity, like how we are seeing in this picture. And this full body picture, it is not much clear where are the points we have to select to do the acupuncture. Once if you get the time, you can just see in the your personal findings in the Google. And this acupuncture points are located in small depressions on the skin. And these small depressions on the skin are called as gates. These gates are opened or closed to adjust the circulation in channels. And it is used for the various treatments, like to treat the infections, sometimes to treat the disorders in the internal organs, and to treat the disorders in eyes, ears, nose, and also for the throat problems and musculoskeletal and neurological problems. And next, if you see the Chinese herbal medicine, you know there are n number of Chinese herbs are available, and they have been using these herbs to treat the various diseases before 4,000 years itself. And these herbs mainly, they are from the natural sources, and they are obtained from plants, animals, and minerals. And these substances, they will have a specific medicinal value, that is nothing but the specific pharmacological activities. And each and every ingredient in the formulation will have its unique characteristics. That means it has its own pharmacological activities. And these ingredients, they work in an harmony to help the person's body. That means it will make all the characters in the balanced condition. And these herbs can help to boost the vital energy and also to balance the yin and yang theory or the characters. And here you can see how the some of the crude materials or the herbs and how they have formulated and how it is mixed. And this making of sometimes the kashayas or the extracts or as the powders or the other formulations, they are used to cure the diseases. And these are all some of the Chinese patented medicines, and usually they are given as the pills, which are called as tea pills, and usually they are small, spherical, and black, appearing like black pearls. And here you can see the list of drugs, their botanical names and their Chinese names and their uses. That is, you can see Artemisia annua in Chinese name. It is called as King Hao, and it is used as an anti-malarial. And then Areca catechu, that is betel nut, which is called as Big Lang and anthelmintic. And also you have your Cinnamomum camphora, that is camphor, which is called as Rogel, used as stomachic and analgesic. And the very well known drug Ephedra sinica, which is called as Ma Huang, used as an anti-asthmatic. And then you have Panax ginseng, that is ginseng roots, called as Wren's hen, which is used as a bitter tonic, and the Rheum species, that is nothing but the rhubarb, which is called as da huang, used as laxative, which contains your anthraquinone glycosides. And then you have the gingiber officinalis, that is all of us know very well, which is nothing but our ginger, what we use in our day-to-day life, called as gangjiang, used as stomachic and anthelmintic. So like this, there are many drugs uh, which are used in the preparation of Chinese medicines. So for your reference, we have taken some of the popular Chinese medicinal plants. And apart from the medicines, diet and exercise is highly required for a healthy individual to maintain the health. And if you want to harmonize yin and yang in the body, diet and exercise also is very, very important. And these herbs are also like food other than drugs. They can also supplied in our diet, which will strengthen our body and prevent the body from getting affected by the disease. How it will do? It will increase the immune system of the body. Okay. So what finally it tells? Apart from the medicines, diet and exercise is also required. And here you can see this is the food what they usually take. Okay, some of the from the medicines which is used to increase the immunity or strengthen the body to fight against the disease. And next one is the Chinese exercise, which is called as qigong. And this Chinese exercise or qigong, it regulates the mind and regulates breathing, which will promote in turn the vital energy within the body. And this qigong is usually used sometimes to treat the disease. And sometimes if anybody is doing the exercise or helping in doing the exercise from external means, that is external qigong, the person who is helping in doing the exercise is called as qigong master. Suppose if a person is doing the exercise on his own, it is called as internal qigong. So this exercise in traditional Chinese medicine, it is also important to maintain the balance between yin and yang and maintain or regulate the vital force and maintain the body to be in a healthy condition. And next is called as your Tai Chi Quan. This is nothing but an internal Chinese martial art. This is practiced for both as a defense training and also it has its own health benefits. And the study of this Tai Chi Quan involves three aspects, that is health, meditation, and martial art. And also the other one is Chinese massage. The massage in Chinese language is called as tuna, where the wave-like motions are used to loosen the joints and nourish the muscles. So sometimes whenever we have suddenly some muscular sprain or something like that, the sprain in the neck or somewhere in the region, in the ankle joints or in the knee joint, we will apply some oil. It's usually castor oil is applied, and we will apply some kind of movements over there to release the or to loosen the joints or to nourish the muscles. So that is nothing but the massage. And this massage brings awareness back to the person's body and making as a first step in the healing process. And it stimulates the vital energy in the blood and body fluids. And it is also used to treat pain, stress, and digestion problems. Especially the people, when you go to the massage, facial massage in the beauty parlors, especially the girls here now, not only the girls, all the people who go, right? So when they do the facial, they do some kind of movements or massage in the face to the facial muscles, so which will relieve the uh, kind of stress, or if you have any pain in the or the pain due to sinus or headache or something like that, that we will get relief from these things. Okay, so that is nothing but your massage. So according to Chinese massage, it is called as tuna, which is also important in treating the disease. So that is about the Chinese system of medicine, where it is based on the yin and yang theory and the five body constituents with the five network organs and the five body climates, which in turn interconnected with each other, and they are involved in the various kinds of the disease diagnosis, and based on the diagnosis, the disease is treated in bringing out the balance between yin and yang. So that is about the Chinese system of medicine. And next and the last system of medicine, what we are going to see is homeopathy. So what do you mean by this homeopathic system of medicine? This homeopathy is a pseudo-scientific system of alternative medicine, and this was very firstly created in 1796 by Samuel Hahnemann. The practitioners in homeopathy are called as homeopaths. It is believed that any substance which causes the signs and symptoms of disease in a healthy people, when it is administered, will cure the similar symptoms and signs produced in the sick people. Okay, once again I'll repeat, any substance which is administered to a healthy person will produce some kind of signs and symptoms of a disease, will cure the same kind of signs and symptoms in a sick people when the same drug is given to the sick person. That is the basic principle involved in homeopathic system of medicine. This doctrine is called as similia similibus parenta, or when you see it in the English meaning, like cures like. That's what. When you give a particular substance to a healthy person, it will produce some kind of disease signs and symptoms. When you give the same substance to a sick person who is showing the same kind of signs and symptoms of the same disease, will cure it. That is the principle. The homeopathic preparations are usually called as remedies and are made using the homeopathic dilutions. In this process, the selected substance or a chosen substance is repeatedly and thoroughly diluted. And if it is repeatedly diluted so many times, and when you just see the final product, we cannot distinguish the diluent from the drug. That means The active principle is present in the very small dilution and it is potent in nature, and usually we cannot able to identify the presence of the drug in that diluted solution. Okay, so usually the diluents what you're going to use is your water, your ethanol, and your sugar. That is nothing but your lactose, which is the inert substance. And when you just see the term homeopathy, it is derived from two words, that is homeos means similar and pathos is suffering. So this homeopathy is based on the principle that the any substances which causes the symptoms in a healthy people can be used in extreme dilution to treat the illness that cause the same kind of symptoms. That is, in other words, we can say likes cure like. I think now you get the point, right? Homeopathic dilution I have explained earlier, and also law of the homeopathy, that is similia, similibus, and currenta. So both are put in this particular phrase or the sentences, that is, which is based on the principle that substances that cause symptoms in a healthy people can be used in extreme dilution to treat the illness that cause the same symptoms, that is like cure like. Yes, you got it. Then basically if you take homeopathy, it will allow the body to heal by itself. How the body will heal by itself? The whatever the substance you have administered, it will trigger the body's natural immune system. Yes, if you just stimulate the immune system of the body, it's going to produce the immune response, and naturally the body is going to get healed by itself. So that is the basic thing involved in homeopathy. Example, you can see caffeine can treat insomnia. And you can see a picture over here. He is called as founder of homeopathy. He is Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, and who lived in between 1755 to 1843. And he is the person who has uh, founded and contributed a lot in homeopathic system of medicine. And this homeopathy was begun in the late 1700s, and it is developed by a German doctor who is called as the Samuel Hahnemann. And Hahnemann was dissatisfied often when they were treating the severe diseases with the treatments. That means the severe treatment, that means the dose will be high, or it will produce more side effects, this, that, and so many things he was observing, and he was looking for a natural way to treat the illness. So this made him to work on himself and on his friends, and he founded the homeopathic system of medicine. Just I will explain these things later. And homeopathy was achieved its greatest popularity in the 19th century. Till now, if you see, most of the people, they will go for the homeopathic treatment, especially, right? For the common the things like your asthma, common cold, or rhinitis, and all these things, mostly people prefer the homeopathic system than the allopathic system of medicine. The first homeopathic school was opened in the year 1830. And how he discovered homeopathy, if you see the history, there was a person, William Cullen, he has written a treatise which is called as Materia Medica of German. And this person, that is Samuel Hahnemann, he was translating this Materia Medica of German, which was written by the William Cullen. When he was doing so, he was struck by a passage that the cinchona bark was used to treat malaria. And in that, he from this conclusions he has concluded from his findings that the effective drugs should produce the symptoms in a healthy people which are similar to the signs and symptoms in the deceased. Okay. And today when you see the principle which is known as law of similaris, and this is the basis for the use of this term homeopathy, that is similar suffering. So to prove that, what this Dr. Samuel Hahnemann has done, Cullen has described its mechanism of action, that it is also functioning as stomach strengthening properties. But Hahnemann did not accept this. And what he did the experimentation on himself and on his friends. What he did, he took around 4 grams of Peruvian bark, that is nothing but it is a synonym for cinchona bark. So he has taken that bark powder, that is the quantity is 4 grams, 2 times in a day for several days. And when he was doing so, after a little long usage of these drugs, he reported to develop the signs and symptoms which are identical as that of malaria. Why he wanted to do that experimentation on himself? Because if he does the experimentation on the other people, people may not come forward to do the experimentation. And so that is why, first of all, he did the experimentation on himself and along with his friends to attempt and characterize the action of quinine, that is the active ingredient present in the Peruvian bark, that is nothing but your cinchona bark. So this was the very first thing, and this has played as a basic theory and principle in the homeopathic system of medicine. That is, like cures like, right? So Samuel Hahnemann, when he was healthy, he took the powder of Peruvian bark every day, 2 times for several days. And finally, after few days, he began to develop the symptoms which are same as that of malaria, where this drug is used to treat malaria. So there developed the basic principle of homeopathy, the law of similaris, that is like cures like. So nowadays, in this condition also, you can see the use of hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine to treat the effects of your coronavirus. That is, the healthcare professionals can take this as a prophylactic dose to prevent them from the attack of corona. So these things are nothing but the semi-synthetic derivatives of quinine, which is obtained from your cinchona bark. And this Hahnemann and his colleagues began to test various substances like this to determine the types of symptoms they produce. That is, first he has done experimentation on himself, and then some of his friends came forward to help him and to develop the homeopathic system of medicine. And all these things, the experimentation, whatever they have done, they have correlated all the results and then suggested to Hahnemann, that is, what the drugs would be useful to treat which kind of diseases. And again, they have done that, that is, with the reduction of dose to infinitesimal levels by multiple serial dilutions to 10-fold or 100-fold, the drug becomes potent on the dilution and they produce the same effects. The soluble compounds or the liquids are diluted in alcohol, and the insoluble materials are serially diluted by grinding with lactose. Lactose is nothing but it is a disaccharide which is insoluble in water, and it is amorphous in nature, and it is an inert compound both physically and chemically. That is why they prefer lactose as an inert compound which is used to dilute the active medicaments. And after this, the Hahnemann practiced homeopathic medicine for almost around 50 years until his death in the year 1843. And as we have discussed all these factors, the theory and basic concept of homeopathy is nothing but similia similibus currentur. That is, let like be treated by like. And in this, the basic concept is the emphasis on root cause of the disease, and the nature's law of its cure is similia similibus currentur. As we already discussed, that the root cause of the disease is treated. How it is treated? The immune system of one's own body is improved by this, so that the disease can be fought or the root cause can be treated. And the very most unique feature in homeopathic system of medicine is the use of small dose and methodology of serial dilution. As we have already seen, when the drugs are diluted to 10-fold or 100-fold, the drugs available in the final product will be in very, very less concentration, and it is highly potent, which can exert its action. And the serial dilution causes the liberation and transfer of energy to the medium which is used as a base, that is nothing but the alcohol or the sugar lactose. And next, the basic concept is proving of drugs. So once you have made the preparation or once you have found out the thing, that you have to prove that your drug is exactly treating the disease. So under that, you will be having your, that means when you just see the basic concepts and the theory, there are 7 principles involved in that. That is individualization, principle of similia, principle of simplex, okay, and then the principle of minimum dose, and law of proving, and law of dynamization, and vital force. So all these things has to be considered and taken into account, and thereby the disease has to be treated by selecting the appropriate drug in the appropriate concentration, and you have to prove that this drug for this particular disease in this very mild concentration, it is highly effective, and also it increases the vital force of the body to prevent the body from recurrence or relapse of the disease, right? And next, when you see the causes of the disease, how the disease is caused in a man, Hahnemann also believed that the cause of the disease is due to the disturbance of the vital force, correct? The vital force is running in and around the body and balancing the organ network and other things when we have seen about the basic principle in Chinese medicine. Yes, this vital force is getting disturbed. That is going to produce a disease in man. The disturbances in vital force will manifest themselves as specific symptoms. That is nothing but your disease. And the another factor is the law of susceptibility. What do you mean by law of susceptibility? First of all, you should know what do you mean by susceptibility. That means if any person is easily gets affected with a disease, you can say that the person is susceptible. Why the person is susceptible? His own defense system in the body is less. In other words, the immune response in his own body is less. That is why he is highly susceptible and very easily he is getting affected by the disease. That is nothing but the microorganisms will invade easily into his body and it's going to produce the various signs and symptoms. Okay, the very first thing is there should not be any disturbance in the vital force in the body, and next one is the law of susceptibility. That is nothing but the person should have at most immune power in his body to resist the invasion of the external things which causes the disease. Okay, and the law of susceptibility, it also related with another important criteria or the factor, which is nothing but the negative state of the mind. So what do you mean by the negative state of the mind? Always thinking about the negative things in the mind, or otherwise always getting fear about the things. So what does these things they will do to the body? When you think that always I cannot do, I don't do, or this is not possible for me. Yes, definitely it is not possible for you. When you think that yes, I can do it, even though if it is tough or if it is hard to do it, I will do it, I can do it, then automatically your force within the body gets increased and you will get the interest to do the work and you will get the work done. So that is why always the negative state of the mind will disturb the body. That means that it will decrease the immune system in the body. So once again, I will just tell you that is, if you just see the health, health is nothing but it is a equilibrium between the physical, mental, spiritual, and the environmental things. That is, if that is the health means a man is said to be healthy means there should be an equilibrium and in all these kind of health. That is nothing but the physical health, mental health, spiritual health, social health, which in turn connects with your environment and the other things. So in that, if you see your physical health is good, your social health is good, and your spiritual health is good. If you are not healthy mentally, that means when you are getting disturbed by some things in your mind, definitely what do you think? No, I cannot do this. I cannot cope up with the things, right? I cannot mingle with those people. So what you will do, you will isolate yourself from doing the work or doing the normal physical activity or praying to your God, that is nothing but your spiritual health, or being mingled with the others, that is nothing but your social health. So naturally, what happens? All kinds of disease entities will enter into your body. That is called as your miasms. Okay. So how it will enter? When you are thinking something else, you are not doing your regular work. You may not get up in time, you may not do the things in time, you may not eat in time, okay, and you may not have the other things, or you will not mingle with your friends, right? That is the social health. Okay, so when you do like this, what happens, the immune system in your body gets reduced because you are not taking the proper food, healthy food, right? So because of that, the immune system is getting decreased in your body, and you are inviting the disease entities, nothing but the miasms, very fastly or easily into your body. You are inviting the disease entities in your body to produce the imbalance in your vital force, right? So that's whatever the negative state of things in the mind are there, that has to be thrown out, and you should make yourself brisk and active, and you should put the positive thinkings in your mind so that you will be active and you can do your work properly, and all your health, that is in the physical way, the mental way, spiritual way, and social way, all the health, the different aspects will be in equilibrium, and the man is said to be healthy. If he is said to be healthy, these disease entities will not enter into the body and will not make your immune system weak, even though if it enters also, your body is strong enough to fight against these disease entities. Okay, so that is called as your law of susceptibility. That is the, and another point, the first point is the immune system, and next one, the immune system is reduced due to the uh, negative thinkings in the mind. So these are all the basic principles and concepts under the homeopathic system of medicine. And next comes to the diagnosis and how the diagnosis is done in the homeopathic system. That is first collecting the history and finding out the symptoms, where that means how that symptom is, where it is present. That is nothing but the location and the sensation and modality, and concomitant symptoms are collect, that is all are observed, and then the patient's mood, behavior, likes, dislikes, and response to stress, and the personality, everything is observed, and finally the symptoms are brought into one picture. And finally, when the symptoms are collected and it is diagnosed what kind of disease is having that particular patient, then the treatment can be started with the drugs, and the drug regimen can be prepared for the particular disease diagnosed in a patient. And how the treatment is done here, the treatment is done in the different ways. If you say the two patients are having the same symptoms, they may receive the different kind of treatments based on their findings, which is dependent on the characters of the body and the uh, that is the law of susceptibility and other things. And the treatment also may be with a single medicine, or sometimes many medicines in combination. Sometimes the number of doses used per day will also vary, and then the duration for which the treatment has to be taken also will vary. And after few days or weeks, the progress has to be reviewed. During the review, if you find the patient is fine, if he is okay, you can stop the treatment. Or otherwise, the treatment can be repeated, or sometimes it is given in its high potency to prevent the patient from recurrence or relapse of the disease. Sometimes if the symptoms are still continuing, the change of prescription can be done where the diagnosis remains the same. So that's how the treatment is given in the homeopathic system of medicine. Here you can see the dilution. See, in the first container, which is green in color, is a mother tincture, which is a concentrated solution from which serially it is getting diluted. Say, for example, in 1 liter container, it has 990 ml of pure water or any other solvent as alcohol or whatever it is. And 10 ml from the mother tincture it is taken, it is mixed well, and from that, the first diluted one, you can again dilute to the second one, third one, fourth one. It goes like this. And usually the drugs are serially diluted. They will be present in the very, very lesser concentration. The potentiation of the drug is more when the dilution is more. Okay, when the drug is present in a very less concentration, it is highly potent and which will exert its maximum therapeutic activities. Okay, and the scales used over here is decimal or centesimal or millisimal, right? And like this, the serial dilutions are prepared and it is packed in the different types of containers. And usually what they do, if you go to a homeopathic doctor, when he's giving the medicine, he will give some diluted extract in one small container, and in the other container the small sugar balls he will give, and he will tell us that we have to instill some drops into that, and we have to shake it, and we have to take a few balls at 2 times or 3 times or something like that. They will be giving the instructions. So that is what happens, that is in the serial dilution in succession, that, or when you do the serial triturations with the, in case of your insoluble constituents along with the lactose, usually the potency is more. Okay, and here you can see some of the drugs which are used in the homeopathic formulations. These are the things what you know or what you use in your day-to-day life. That is rosemary, garlic, you know about it. Okay, and here you can see some of the marketed formulations. That is, you can see the formulas for the sciatica, and here in the small containers you can see the different kinds of medicines written over there. That is Naxwamica, you know very well about it, and the mineral sulfur, and belladonna and rust. You see, the mineral sulfur is over there. That is, I already told you, apart from treating the disease, they also will boost up the vital force in the body. That means they increase the immune system of the body. Okay, so thereby they can achieve their goal in treating the specific diseases. Okay, so that is about the homeopathic system of medicine, and here ends the alternative system of medicines. We have covered all the different kinds of your alternative system of medicines, like your Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, Chinese, and homeopathy. Okay, so this is a half of the part in your fourth chapter. So that is covered. Thank you.